At a time when Nigerians are yoking under a season of hikes in goods and services, it is relieving to have a federal high court in Kano issue an interim order stopping the Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC, and the Kano Electricity Distribution Company, KEDCO, from implementing a new increased tariff for Band A users in DISCO franchise area. Recall that the NERC had recently mandated electricity distribution companies to change Band A consumers, to charge, I should say, Band A consumers higher tariffs to ensure a stable power supply for those who can afford it. Reason, we have been told, had always existed, but not always in a reasonable form. Ibn Abo.
You see, I somehow, when the government came up with this different bands, band A, B, C, and D.
ABC to E.
ABC to D, E, thank you. I wasn't very comfortable with that because there was an undertone of segregation there. Because it's like somebody lives in the highbrow area of wherever you are, and then somebody lives on the other side. So it's like you are practically brandishing segregation in the faces of people. But then, if we look at it critically, if they had to spread the tariff increase, there are some people that cannot afford it.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing a matter of, taking from those who have to augment what is needed for now, which for me...
Do you have a steady supply in your part of town?
Even with supposed band, sometimes they fail us. Okay. And then before the month runs out, they will now quickly give us excess.
So you don't even told us which band you are, whether it's bandit or...
let us leave the band. Let's leave the band.
Talk finish, we go know.
So that is it. So for me, I'm not satisfied with the performance of the energy sector. I'm not satisfied. So, but like a Daniel come to judgment, the Kano High Court is doing something great. They should do something great.
Okay.
Because sometimes people don't say it. Some people don't understand that you can actually, action on, issues like this. They tell you, you can't fight the government, you can't do this. But if you have your facts, you can go to court. So I
feel aggrieved.
Yes. So I actually feel that, to an extent, there is a little measure of segregation in it.
Okay.
Yes, I believe that.
Dr. My country, your country is a country of conspiracy theorists. And we just heard that from our friend here, our colleague here.
Well, I think we still need to sit down. Like a lot of people have said, the Minister of Power appears to be one of the weakest links in this administration.
In the chain?
Yeah, in the chain of this administration. And that's because a lot of things are not just right. Nigerians can't even understand what is going on. In my own estate, as an example, there was a time...
You are Band A?
I don't even know which band. That's the bad part of it.
Okay.
There was a time they were bringing huge bills. And then the estate managers told us...
But you are better able to determine what band you belong in if you weigh supply to...
You are able to... that is what the problem is now. They tell you are in Band A. Do you get that supply? That's a big question.
At least 20 hours.
So it means you are being charged for what you are not being supplied. That's why I wanted to use this example. I was told at some point that we were on 16 hours 2 years ago.
That makes you Band B?
I think so. And the bills kept coming. And people complained. We're not even getting these 16 hours. Let these people reduce it, I think, to 14. it came down to 12. And then, you see, you now get to a point where on some days you ask yourself the question, I've used my generator for about 8 hours. So where is the 12 hours these people are supposed to supply? Because it doesn't even just function. And then we keep hearing different kind of permutations from them. We are going to carry out, you get these text messages very easily, frequently from them. We are going to carry out maintenance from 12 to 2 p.m. We are sorry, we couldn't finish at 2. It's now 8 p.m. On the day you should even have supply. So it's a huge issue. But like we've said, all of these things, in reality, don't come cheap.
Doctor, factor the Kano development,
yes,
the Kano High Court.
That's where I'm going into.
Go there.
That all of these things, even despite this judgment, electricity doesn't come cheap, not anywhere. But what most Nigerians want...
Sounds like a cliche.
Yeah. What most Nigerians want is, let me pay for what I use.
I consume, yeah.
That's all. Nobody is saying...
But is it necessarily true, Ibn Abba, that Nigerians are ready to pay for a service? Just give the service, they'll pay for it.
You have to be consistent.
Okay.
That's just the issue. A welder wants to work during the day. You are giving him power from 12 midnight to 6 a.m. in the area where he's working. That doesn't make sense. People need to be able to say, okay, if I buy this fuel for 2,000 naira and I'm a public transport owner, can I make 2,005 in order to be able to go back to buy another one? That's what Nigerians want. But we are not even getting what we are supposed to get, which is the first thing that the government ought to have done.
Do you see more courts in the near future towing the line of the Kano State High Court?
It will definitely happen when people go to court. Okay. But the fear of most Nigerians is if we go to court in the next 10 years, we are there. That's the fear. It will definitely happen because we must get to a point where what you are charging me must be commensurate to the service you are providing. You can't come and say you have put me on band A, 20 hours, and I can't boost of 2 hours power supply in a day. At the end of the month, you are bringing me bill for what somebody who has enjoyed the electricity for 20 years should be paying.
Yeah.
That's
Even about
some God.
Well, he is telling us what we already know. Nigerians are not a litigious people, but that does not stop the court from working, doing its job.
That shouldn't stop the court from working because, you know, and unfortunately, most people have lost hope in that sector. They believe that, why should I even go to court? Because by the time the judge will continue to adjourn and you already get frustrated. So they preempt the performance of the courts even before they even take the case to court. So they just, before they even get there, they already you know, abort the plan or the thought or whatever. So there are so many things we need to look into. We need to look at our judicial, that sector and make it work, let it work. And then we need to inject enough trust into Nigerians to believe in the, you know, pronouncement of any judge from any court of jurisdiction, because they will tell you, I don't believe this. Maybe somebody went behind the door to do something and all of that. So there are so many issues that needs to be sorted out before Nigerians can have the faith in our judicial system and believe that if I am aggrieved, I can go to court and I'll get justice.
All right, sorry, we are joined now by gentleman Sulaiman from Ibadan. Sulaiman, I greet you. How are you?
Good evening, sir.
Yeah.
Good evening to everybody in the studio.
Okay, let's go, Sulaiman.
Yes. I don't know. May I just ask one or two questions as I contribute to this matter?
Okay.
Please, is it true that the federal government is a 40% shareholder of all DISCOs? Two.
Where did you get that from?
Well,
is it a conspiracy theory? Me, I never hear that one.
That is why
he's asking the question.
That you clarify.
Me, I have not asked. I mean, I don't know. The answer from me is I don't know.
Okay.
Go ahead, sir.
Let's put that aside. What stops the discourse from being allowed? What stops the discourse from being allowed to own the transmission network as it happens in the telecommunications sector? How can distribution be guaranteed by the distributor who does not own the distribution mechanism?
Suleiman, I know there are three processes here. You have the generation, distribution, and transmission.
He has asked a very critical question.
And transmission is entirely in the purview of the federal government.
Yeah.
So what can POMI do about it, Suleiman? Thank you, Brother Suleiman. Are you done? Are you okay?
I think it's there. That's the issue I raised about the minister having to have ensured that that process can sustain what he's putting out to Nigerians before making that pronouncement. When it's raining, we have too much of power supply. Some of us are even scared because there are dams that we have that will provide electricity. When we don't have any shutdown, we have enough gas. How do we ensure that all of these things work? How do we ensure that the power that we generate from our dams is consistent?
You know as much as Ibn Abbas does that the problem is not generation, it is transmission.
Well, not entirely transmission.
And you also must not forget that states have been empowered to generate electricity.
Just a few states now, not all of them. Hopefully,
it's a process, and it will take a while.
It will take a while.
Yes.
Hopefully, what Lagos has will come into play now. Lagos has always had its own IPP, especially for its secretariat. It's coming into play now.
Okay.
But what we're saying is generally these are the factors that ought to have been put into consideration before announcing this Band A thing, and then people become agitated.